All right, guys. Hello. What's going on? So you made it to video 15. Hang in there. There's 3 more to go because there are 18 videos in total. I accidentally lied. I thought it was going to be 17 parts, and now it's 18 parts. And then maybe 19 because I'll do like a commentary on the whole thing to wrap it up. But anyway, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it if you can share these videos as much as you can. I'm uploading to YouTube right now, but in the next week or so, I'm also going to be doing Steemit and all the other ones, all the other social media that we're on. Get this out because not only do I want to call this jerk out, but I put some very informative stuff in there. So even though it's very long, I tried to make it as entertaining as I could by adding clips and showing, articles and studies and stuff during the debate as I'm talking. And if you look in the description, it's the description section. And in some of the videos, I don't know if I've done this for all the videos yet, but I pinned some of the links at the top. But they're definitely in the description section. If you have not, if you're still looking for stuff, or if there's something I mentioned in the video that you do not see in either at the top of the comment section or in the description section, please message us on Facebook and be like, hey, you mentioned this. Do you have a reference for this? We're happy to do that. It's me and my best friend. Sorry, I'm the face, but we do a lot of research and we're building a database. We've been doing this for about 9 years, so we have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of research, and yeah. All right, guys, I'm just stopping by to say hi. Enjoy the rest of the debate, and peace and love. Bye bye.
That he got smallpox. This is proof the smallpox virus sheds out of the person who got it, and
okay,
that is not true.
I also sent you 10 other articles talking about vaccine shitting.
And all of them are man sheds polio virus over 30 years. BBC. Let's see.
So you didn't address the one that shows the primates and the whooping cough vaccines. They didn't show symptoms, but they actually infected other primates.
So you're saying that they got the whooping cough, even though none of them got the whooping cough, but they showed.
No, you can still have the bacteria and have symptoms. So they carried the bacteria, and then they spread it to other people. So the dangerous thing about the whooping cough vaccine is that you can get it and still harbor it, not show symptoms, but still spread it to other people, and then they can get sick.
Because of an experiment you're showing me with monkeys.
Okay, it's a primate study.
That means monkeys.
Okay, I know, but it's.
I just want to hold 1 second here. Let's just.
So why do people perform experiments on animals, right? To see how it's going to affect humans.
Right.
I thought it's just they like to torture animals.
Well, that's.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. They want to see how it works on living organisms with similar physiology. They know that it's not a 1-1 correlation.
Okay, so why would they use vaccines that they're going to use on us? Why doesn't it count?
I don't know.
I gotta read a comment here.
I don't know what that question means.
Rod L.
Well, I'm
Miller,
just saying,
I am laughing hysterically because they sound like Abbott and Costello, and I still don't know who's on first, but I really don't care about the answer.
Okay, let me see.
I just had to put that out there.
Can I put this article in the chat and see?
Which one?
The Reuters one. We were going around in a circle. I put it in the chat.
Okay.
People want to see. And then, let me see. Measles. Just look up this. So, I mean, we're still going around in circles. I just feel like you don't want to admit that it's possible that a virus can shed. Even though I'm saying it says.
I just told you it's possible. I just said that it's never happened. There are lots of things that are possible. There's just no proof it's ever happened. It's possible there are aliens.
Because you haven't, this you don't know, doesn't mean it's not possible.
Yeah, but you're arguing that something should be banned and is evil because it could happen. but there's no cases of it actually happening. There's only cases of it saving millions of lives. So there's cases of it saving millions of lives with documented medical studies, but well, you have a great article from Routers that you have to make shit up about in order to be able to say that this is what happens.
We have to play semantic games because you don't want to admit that you're wrong.
Oh, what am I wrong about? Tell me what I'm wrong about, because I'm curious.
We're going to go back and forth, and
then you know what? We should just shut this down because this is ridiculous. You are literally just making shit up, and you're just telling people that this is what they should believe. You are literally doing that.
Why don't you discuss the other 9 studies that I see? Like, oh, they're news articles. Oh, they're this.
They all are news articles. You sent me 2 primate studies and news articles.
I sent you some studies. Okay. Outbreak of measles among persons with prior evidence of immunity.
Okay, and that proves shedding? That doesn't say it in the article?
No, I'm sending you here.
All of this is sent in this heading, sheddings and vaccines. And then you sent me all these articles.
Those are my notes, yes.
Hang on. The audience is saying, Halsey, don't be grumpy. You must have over-vaccinated.
I probably did.
All right. So let me, I gotta
shut this down, because all you really have when I send you stuff is just to do an attack on the references and not really look into it.
Well, I hear you. I have this problem that when people send me proof of something, I read it.
Yeah, you haven't read shit, okay? So I'm assuming you read all the 20 plus articles that I sent you in like 60 seconds. Can you photo read? Please tell me your ways. Show me how.
And when what I read is complete opposite of what they said, I tend to point it out. And then when people say, no, I'm looking at this right now and I'm making shit up. Like, look, it says there were virus particles all over the house. Yes, it says right here what they were.
Yeah, it is. And I guess this boy just spontaneously got that rash for no reason. Nothing triggered it, right?
I told you something triggered it. You're telling me he got smallpox.
I'm telling you the vaccine triggered it.
No, you're not. You're saying, and I told you an adverse reaction to the vaccine triggered it, and you're trying to say
from the vaccine that he got.
Yes, you're trying to say that's proof of shedding. It's not. It's proof that the guy got sick from an adverse reaction to it, which it says in the article.
Okay, well, if the guy got his vaccine and he wasn't shedding, then he wouldn't have given anything to his son. So that's how I see it.
That's how you see it.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't say that.
So right now we're still at the point.
Okay.
Where Halsey says all vaccines are good, and Verstein says all vaccines are bad or unnecessary.
Well, let's be honest here.
I'm just framing this right now where we are at this moment.
To have a debate is never about changing the other debater's mind. It's about so the audience can watch and make a more informed decision based off the arguments given by all parties involved.
Yes, and I've been watching the chat and monitoring, and based on the reactions, people believe their IQ has dropped at least by 20 points during this debate. Everyone is more confused now than when it began. I can say that for sure. We spent the last hour over shedding in an apartment.
Well, yeah, I'm a little confused by Verstein's use of the word shedding, which I've heard different terminology ascribed to that effect there, spreading, or a contagion or something like that. Calling it shedding for everything that spreads it was really confusing me. But I'm not here to debate to take Halsey's side. If it seems like that at any time, I apologize. I just came on to answer evolutionary questions, and if there are any more of those, I'd be happy to answer.
But I just feel like, I can't win because I'm like, well, it says I can shed in the inserts. You're like, oh, well, it could happen, but.
I said it could happen. I'm saying there's no documented case of it actually happening.
Okay.
Well, here's the whole thing. This is just my perspective as a layman in this. I came into this not knowing, and like I say, no one really was going to win in my mind because I don't believe all are good or all are bad. I can't take one side on an extreme. I came into this only knowing what I've heard Michael Savage talk about with a science background, that each one of these vaccines would have to be debated individually rather than saying one is good and all is good or all is bad.
So well, I know that because I've done my research. So this is why I've come to the conclusion I made that all of them are bad.
Yeah, but let's be fair though. Just doing research doesn't necessarily mean you did the right research, because I could look into.
And I can say, yeah, right. I can say the same thing about your stance, though, right?
I don't know. What is my stance?
But have you done research, or you're just repeating what you've heard?
I don't know. I mean, I'm asking you what is my stance on this? Because my stance probably agrees with you more than Halsey. We just have a disagreement on the proportionality of the rates at which people have these adverse reactions to vaccines. Okay. And Halsey doesn't even disagree that people have adverse reactions. He said it 50 times since I've been one.
Mm. Well, I feel like, I'm like, okay, well, the insert shed, the hospital inpatient papers say that, shedding happens and you can't come in if you've had a live virus vaccine. So, I mean, like, how is that? That's not proof that it can happen or does happen?
Well, I mean, maybe in their monkey experiments or some laboratory testing or some mathematical theorem, they found out it could happen. But what Halsey's been saying, what I've gleaned here, my inference is that Halsey's saying, okay, I admit that it's possible it can happen because they put it into insert. So evidently they must have some type of scientific conclusion to assert that it could happen, to infer that it could happen. But where has it happened? And that's where y'all are bumping in.
And then I sent him a primate study. He's like, it's a monkey study. Okay. Well, I mean, it's like I'm not going to win. So.
I mean, are you against monkeys being vaccinated or people being vaccinated? There's a distinction to make there.
Yeah, there is, but they test the vaccine on monkeys to see how it's going to do on people. So,
and mice and rats and all kinds of
that stuff. Yeah, they don't do it for shits and giggles. So if monkeys are mammals and it's happening in monkeys, you don't think it's going to happen in people? Why would
maybe, but it's not necessarily imminent.
It's also, I just said, I would like to see an example of where it did happen, and the only example you gave me of it did happening wasn't an example of it actually happening.
I gave you like 10 examples. I just sent you 10 more. So, I mean, let me see. One more.
Well, you don't have
more
to send
questions.
Are there any actual real questions from the chat?
Yeah.
I know you guys are having fun in there, laughing at everybody. But seriously, any real questions?
Come on, people. Give me some questions. I'm not even drinking tonight, damn it. I'm in the state of mind where I can answer questions.
Let's say this. Let's see. Well, Carrie Donovan loves you both. Carrie Donovan's she's contributed on here and been on the show as a guest to cover a lot of topics. She loves both of you guys. She, I believe, leans towards anti-vaxxing to begin with, but she said she still loves both of you.
I'm going to need Verstein's Twitter handle before this is over so I can troll her every once in a while.
No, it's
I'm not even really on Twitter. I need to get on there.
What do you do? Do YouTube mostly?
Yeah, but I need to be more active on Twitter. I'm going to work toward that during the next year.
I built up a decent account with YouTube, but then they just banned every video I made. Just like took away like 90% of my videos.
Oh yeah, they're doing that to a lot of people. I feel like there was so much I wanted to get through, and we just got hung up on that.
Are there any other important points that you want to make?
Anybody want to ask any questions?
Oh well, let me re-ask this question because someone else who contributes on here, Maria Albanese, asked, and she said she never heard your answer. I think I asked it, and then it got cut off. On hold on one second here. Where'd it go? She wanted to know about the where the heck did it? Jesus, she sent me so much stuff. It was on I believe it was on the Gardasil. Oh, Gardasil and hold on. Where the heck did it go? Oh my God. So much stuff on here. Feels about Gardasil vaccine and if she's heard of any connectors to leukemia, specifically AML.
Let me just see really fast. I have this book of, let me just see if I can look up something really fast in here. 27.
The live virus vaccines are minimally purified. And quote unquote, they're saying that. So a vaccine contains every normal licensed vaccine, every one of the vaccines our children are getting, contains fragments of DNA, fragments of RNA, genetic codes that these scientists report are highly mutagenic, and they say at these meetings, well, they could cause autoimmune diseases and cancers, and they've got no reason to say they don't. They simply say we don't know what they're causing. The chairman of the meeting said, well, have we tested it for the amount of free DNA from birds? And they said, no, we haven't tested it. We have got no way of testing it. This is before they add aluminum, and it's before they add mercury or any other adjuvants. This is what all vaccines, they call it the substrate. And one scientist from Britain said, if the Greens in my country heard about what we're discussing, they would demand immediately the ending of all vaccination, because we simply don't know what's in our vaccines. I mean, it's quite foul how they make the measles. I then went to, only last year, I went to the records of the Centers for Disease Control in Washington, a major research laboratories, to find out how they isolate the measles virus. And I didn't expect anything like HIV, because surely this is one error. There is a paper that I've uncovered at the CDC, and it's called Isolation of the Measles Virus. It says if we think a patient might have measles, got spots, get some fluid from that patient, a sample of their urine or a swab from the mouth.
Start from when the measles have spots. You rub your
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Start from where, sorry?
From the spots. The measles.
So I'm not quite with you, sorry.
Start where you say, check the symptoms if they have spots.
Check the symptoms of the patients. If these patients have got spots, if it looks like they might have measles, but you want to prove they got the measles virus in them and isolate that measles virus, what you do is you take some fluid from the patient and put it in the fridge. This could be some urine, it could be a swab from the mouth with some saliva. So that's what you got to test. But all viruses are produced by cells. So the next thing you've got to do is get a marmoset monkey. If anyone's been to the zoo and seen the marmoset monkeys, they're the ones that are extremely lively and got long tails. Kill it, take its cells, and put the cells in the cell culture, because they're 10,000 times more responsive to measles than our human cells. That's what it says. But the cell culture isn't ready yet to grow measles virus. The next thing to do is to make the monkey cells cancerous by, say, exposing them to radiation. You immortalize them, as it's called. Still not ready. Next thing is you give those monkey cells Epstein-Barr syndrome, which is a horrific disease. You're still not ready. Next thing, you add a toxin to the cell culture that is so dangerous that the advice is wear rubber gloves. Don't let the human skin touch it. The CDC says at this point your cells are starting to fall off the side of the laboratory vessel. In other words, they're poisoned, they've got cancer and Epstein-Barr syndrome, and they're falling over. They're ill. Give them 2 days to recover and add some nutrients. Now, get the sample out of the fridge from the patient and add it to these deceased cancerous cells. Watch with a microscope for 2 days. If after this time 50% of the cells are distorted, then you have got an isolate of measles virus, and you're instructed to put it in the fridge and keep it, because it could be used as a vaccine. At no point, you will notice, at no point is a measles virus seen. No point is a measles virus proved to cause the illness in the cells. We know they're poisoned. We know they've been given cancer. We know they've been given Epstein-Barr syndrome. That is now ready to be made into a vaccine to put in our kids. This noxious mixture is a basis that can be used for vaccines. This is current today on the CDC website. They've actually, if you dig deep enough, you'll find these instructions for the lab technicians are in place on their website.